Yo, what is up, everyone? Hopefully there wasn't too much backfeed through my mic. I just realized it wasn't muted in here, but it's
Oh,
all right. Things happen.
I didn't hear
So,
anything.
well, we're
I
probably
heard
fine then.
music with good liquid D&B lyrics and vocals in it that I thought were great.
Well, it's probably good enough then. Yeah, I've actually I was fucking with a bunch of sound settings recently, and somehow I boosted my mics a whole bunch. So when I set the stream up today for Jen, the sound was obnoxiously peaked, and I don't really actually even understand how. But now I have it ducked I have my air conditioner on right now, and you can only barely hear it in the
Oh,
background.
no, yeah, as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
it's
I
very,
mean,
very,
it
very
sounds like
minor.
I'm in a fucking wind tunnel. It's mind blowing how minimal it is, really, for how yeah, for how loud it really is.
Yeah, no
So,
kidding.
wonder why this other screen is showing up black. It's weird.
That is weird.
Weird.
Where's your
It's all
avatar
black.
screen?
Strange. Strange technological things. I was actually just right before this, I was starting to watch this thing that's just Amazon, the Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, everything he testified to Congress and
Yeah, yeah, I heard about it.
compiled into a 13-minute video, and
Uh-huh.
only even just a minute into it, and then I kind of ran out of time. But nevertheless, it's just so funny to watch Congress talk to a tech CEO, and really
Uh-huh.
just Congress talk to anyone, because they're always just trying to paint something, and you can tell that they are always have this plan, like
Yeah.
for the one of the first things that was on there that they were asking him was that about the concept of someone selling a stolen good on Amazon, and he's like, well, with a million, over a million sellers, I'm, something that's stolen's probably been sold on there before, and she's like, so you're telling me that nothing stolen has ever been sold on Amazon? He's like, no. Actually, what I said is that it probably has. You know,
Yeah.
it's just so funny. Congress does this to people all the time. Watching the Mark Zuckerberg when he was sitting in front of Congress a while back. It's quite
Mm-hmm.
funny just because the questions that they ask, you can tell that they're just completely ignorant to the tech that's operating there, or even just the way anything operates. And they're also constantly trying to paint this person into some kind of weird corner that
Yeah.
they're
Well,
not really even in.
it's nice when they have ones that do it really, really well. I'm trying to remember his name, but I watched back, I mean, a few years ago, I came across him. He's one of the senators or congressmen, excuse me, that he was grilling, we look into the missing funds, I think, and in the missing trillions, and he's one of those guys. But he would ask the right questions and wouldn't let them get off point and wouldn't let them talk in circles and would just pin them down on some shit. Man, the way he did it was really impressive. Just as a human being, to see a really good interviewer when he's just able to just side skirt all the bullshit.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess as you're saying that, I'm realizing my experience with watching this happen is generally Congress basically interviewing a tech CEO or someone in the tech or information sector, and it's
Right? Yeah, yeah.
they're just so fucking
So you don't have an
ignorant to the
understanding of the
going
material.
ons of the
Yeah.
the tech world. It's so weird to see that. Even you would think that the people running our country would be extremely savvy with everything that's standard day-to-day stuff in our reality. I don't know why I'd think that. I would think that. Maybe other people wouldn't think
Well,
that.
at the very least, you think they'd elect to be the interviewer because it's not the whole of Congress. It's like a panel of X amount of congressmen, a dozen or whatever it is, usually to interview these people. They only get so much time, and so you think that they'd send their most tech knowledgeable representative to do that. And if she
Yeah.
is, well, that's concerning.
That's very concerning. I like to tell myself that they're not the best ones at this. You just happen to catch the highlight reel. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I, I, uh, I think we oftentimes, for lack of a better word, falsify documents in our head in order just to it makes it feel a little bit better.
mm,
Congress is a bunch of idiots. Well, maybe not all of them. It was just the ones I saw.
yeah,
Yeah, it's probably all of them. It's
yeah.
probably all
I
of
don't
them.
know. It's a lot of them. Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
know, man. I think it's really kind of especially with the tech trials and stuff. It's really just a testament to how the current guard of the United States government is just kind of like needs to be on its way out. Like they're just not fresh enough with the times, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the security issues and stuff that they bring up there to like a lot of people under the age of like 25. This is just the way that the world has always been. Like they don't even like think about, oh no, somebody's going to know where I'm at all the time. Like that's been a convenience in like 7 apps I've used. Like
Yep.
it's not a problem. So
Yep.
it's not like you're hiding away from this stuff anyways. I always think it's funny when people are like, oh god, the social media network can like track my movement or something like that. If they really wanted to track your movement or track stuff about you and like it was personal in any way, hey, they could. Whoever they are.
Hmm.
It's not that hard. You're not a ghost. You know what I mean? Like most people are not doing anything actually to protect their privacy on any type of digital platform at
Even
all.
Mark Zuckerberg puts tape over his camera on his laptop.
Sure. That's because he knows full well that like it's very easy to hack a computer and watch what its camera's seeing. Super
That's what I'm
easy.
saying. Yeah,
So,
like even he does it. Yeah, that's what he
yeah.
says, and there's a good reason.
Yeah. So I mean, why wouldn't you? Like if you care about your privacy, like do things to protect it. I always kind of feel like if you don't stand for your rights or know what your rights are, then you basically don't have any. So like if you really want your privacy, well, fucking be private then. You know?
Yeah.
It's like it's the same thing with like people. I've done a lot of like social media coaching and advising, and like oftentimes I'll get this like person that's like, well, I'm not posting on social media to get followers. It's like you're definitely posting on social media for other people to look at. It's not a fucking live journal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no reason to post it there unless other people are gonna look at it. Like that's the point. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. Why would you ever be posting there? So
Yeah.
it's just not even worth the time. So I don't know. Weird stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I've had a very human day. Like right away, I started like I
Very
haven't
human,
moved my
huh?
vehicle in several
Uh-huh.
days or longer than that. And then when I like went to move it, it's like it had leaked like all the tranny fluid. It looks like when I had
Oh
my tranny
no!
flush, they probably like didn't put the plug back in. Hopefully, they didn't blow the seals. I haven't really figured it
Yikes!
out yet.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, like you know, get to fucking refill all this shit and like have your like oh just the problems. And it's like a fucking 110 degrees outside, so you don't want to be outside
Yeah, no
doing
doubt.
anything. It's just ugh, dude. It's like being in an oven taking care of anything. It's no good. So,
Yeah.
but like you got to do that stuff. It was weird because I was like metaphoring it over to with a person that I play like a lot of video games with, and I have for like 15 years. So like the majority of our relationship has been spent sitting in a chair. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
I brought up how in that like how even if you are pretty sedentary, it's like so beneficial to at least like do one thing a day. You know, it's basically
Yeah.
the idea of like even if you're gonna let your car sit, like start it up and take it around the block, repark it
Yeah. Yeah.
again. You know, it
Yeah.
just runs so much better. Like a car's not
What if
even meant
that's
to
that's the
not run.
modern day? That's the modern day, like trying to communicate what yoga is, or some any other form of like to a modern generation. It's
Sure.
just, like trying to
Yeah.
get up and move around. It's like, oh yeah, getting like we go walking, moving energy in your body, myofascial tissue. I mean, just all that shit. Your circulatory system and just all that shit. Green,
Yeah.
and also green immersion therapy, just being around greenery. Not that you guys have a lot there.
Yeah.
You a little, but like not that you have a lot. But just that alone like increases all sorts of shit and things in the body, and yeah.
Yeah, I think there's so much stuff that we can do in like a hands-off way to enhance our life that I don't think people really look into it at this point in time. Like if we've thought of I've kind of had this idea in the back of my mind, but I don't really think I'm like the perfect person for it. And for
Mhm.
quite a while, that is really just like conscious interior design. Like
Mm.
and it's maybe like even a step farther than feng shui, but also like incorporating feng shui because I really do
Yeah.
think there is something to that. But also the idea of like establishing a purposeful soundscape and a purposeful like color
Yeah.
layout for what is there that's maybe even is something that you could change over time. Like if I was to do it to my house, I would basically like have a white and black bones of the whole house, right? And then
Yeah.
like in the ideal situation, as you felt driven through whatever your journey was in life and however you felt you needed to be enhanced or you needed a little more oomph inside of your life or whatever, you would basically kind of change out all of the accessories to that place with
Mm.
things that were like tuned to the colors that you were trying to be around, and so that you're really having like those light frequencies around you all the time, and
Yeah.
tuning the soundscape and having the thing built so that like if you're standing in the middle of the living room, you're experiencing like a binaural effect
Yeah.
already,
Yeah.
things
Totally.
like this, just to really set the whole environment to be something that's
Yeah.
tuned towards your like I don't know, growth or maintenance or
Dude,
progression, whatever you
like
call it.
that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of fun kind of shit. Like I did home theater jobs for a couple years, and I did it because I wanted to study my own setting up a home theater. Especially when we moved in our house, we could put in like built-ins and like figure out all the soundscape stuff. And built-ins aren't. I mean, it was the compromise, because it's like she's not going to want big speakers everywhere.
Mm.
But if they're in the wall, it's cool. So it's like, all right, that's cool. It's nice having the wall. It's like different, built a box around them on the inside, or how did I do that? Ported it, I don't know, whatever it was. But like, did all the things to position them right and enhance them. But the whole study of that, and then started doing it. And we had a 1080p projector like 10 years ago, um, and I think it was the first one under $1,000, and we got that instead of a TV. So we
Mm.
had an 81 inch, it was 81 inch, 89 inch, or whatever, um, projection screen, like 1080p projection screen for years. So for video games or just for anything, right? That was our TV when we had
Mm-hmm.
it, which was cool, in a one bedroom apartment. It was awesome. It took up the whole living room. It was great, man.
It's the
Um,
whole wall of the apartment.
and we had like a aluminum frame screen too, so like it was slick looking. It wasn't like just
Mm.
on the wall, so it looked like a TV, kind of. And anyway, nowadays it's so funny. Since the better TVs have come out, because
Mm-hmm.
my parents have a 4K projector
Mm.
here, like in a theater room and shit, and the TVs just look better, man.
Yeah.
They just look better, and I get cinema, like watching cinema on certain, but still, I'm like, no, that's 4K and that's a projection. The TVs look way better.
Yeah.
Just do, you know.
Yeah, can
I
the
was actually
projector really like I mean, I don't know a lot about like these projectors like that. Like can they really carry the resolution effectively? I mean,
Yeah,
like
well, part of it's the okay. Let me dip back into that when I was immersed in that world and all that research or material or whatever. Um, Something about like depends on the output, and there's now LEDs that are becoming viable. That was newer when I was looking into it, on the consumer end, but depending on the way they project the light and the brightness of the gain of the screen. Like we had a slightly grayed screen, which
mm,
we did intentionally. The white's going to reflect more of the whites, and you're going to have it's going to massively vary. The hardest thing to do, I think, is get black blacks. It's only as black as your screen, but then to project the white onto a screen, I don't think they figured that shit out really. So
yeah.
it's not nearly as clear than the individual, like now, organic pixels or whatever they do, and like seeing
Sure.
that some of the tech on that is like, I don't know, man. It's way more satiating to the eye, I feel like, for the newer TVs than a projection screen, unless you're watching a cinema type movie or something, for that
Yeah.
intentional experience.
Yeah, a really good TV with like 60 FPS 4K shit on it is like it looks so weird, honestly.
Yeah,
Like it
we
looks
talked about
beyond
this.
real.
You gotta get, have you if you've got to find a TV where you can play with the settings, because I was telling Joe about this and he didn't know this. I'd have to ask him if he's tried it or if he's got it. But like, some TVs, it's not just on or off. They have like 4 or 5 or 6 settings for the smooth motion with different layers or algorithms for interpolation, and so they're
Mm.
they're different. And it's like, so on some movies, like if you're watching on that, like I think I've talked about The Office, which is like a sitcom in the office, but watch that dozens and dozens of times over the years. Then we got one of those TVs, and it turned it on, and it made it amazing for that show. Just like it was totally surreal in a cool way to like almost re-engage the whole show in a much more vivid way. And then, but like for any kind of animated or CGI movie that also had real people in it, or the
Mm-hmm.
mix of characters or settings, it was so clearly fake. It looked like
Yeah.
10-year-old CGI. But if you change the setting, there's like 2 or 3 different settings, then that looks amazing, but then the other stuff looks really weird. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
a lot of variation in there.
That's probably what it is. I always realized that it was like there was certain shit if you're like flipping through the channels on one of these TVs. There's certain
Hmm.
shit that you're like that just looks so weird, and there's other shit that you're
Really,
like
yeah.
okay that looks like normal TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
probably settings I mean, I
Well,
never
yeah.
had one of these. I just like flipped through channels on someone else's. So,
Oh, yeah. So I dove into the home theater thing. So I ended up doing several home theaters for different people, and they let me like design the room, and they just and I give them a price list, and they'd have me pay me to install it. And
mhm.
I think I was just doing it for my own research and whatever, and like so I think I gave them I did the research list of the prices, and they just paid the cost. What I was going to, I found them online, Newegg and Amazon, and just the places, Tiger Direct, I think back then or whatever, Fry's for some things, and build them a home theater setup, set it up, install it, run the wire for the electrical and stuff, and that was fun, man. That was just cool for me to do for the experience. I made money for the labor, which is great, and I got to learn different systems and different rooms and acoustics and try different things out, different projectors, different settings, different. It was cool, man. It was a lot of fun.
That's how everything I know about car stereos, I know like that. Like, I never had an even remotely decent car stereo in my car, but I've installed a bunch of slamming fucking systems. Like,
Cool. Yes, right. You were talking about that.
I mean, I've taken it to the max where you like dynamite every single square inch, and like there's
That's
nothing
right.
that fucking rattles
Yeah.
in the whole car. Like, it's just like way
That's what you're
overdone,
saying.
you know.
That's
But
sick. Yeah. Gosh,
never
yeah.
had one in my own car. If I hadn't had been like either fucking around with them in other people's cars or getting paid to do it, like
Dude, someday, like having the time or the setting or like some shit to like that's the thing we're into. To
yeah,
start building that shit because we can for whatever we're focused on or doing in life, like to do that for months or who knows. That's the thing to like fucking dive into, especially creating rooms and spaces. And then back to what you were saying originally, that idea is I think is fucking great. Like that's something like a service I could see being offered. See, I see
yeah,
like I could throw myself into that, and like I see my life develop with that thing right now, diving 100% in a way that would be effective and like fully committed. But like, I don't want to fully commit to that. Like it's a great
yeah.
idea, but there's a
It'd
lot of
be
great
sick if you had
ideas.
like a bunch of money and you knew where you were gonna live. Get yourself like one of those like old Buicks or Cadillacs. It's like it's enormous inside, right? But like don't worry about it running. Just like get the interior just like immaculate, and then just
Uh,
like have it parked somewhere with a slamming system installed in it. And like all you have it for is like you go out there and you fucking
the
smoke weed in it
experience.
just to like reminisce about when you were a teenager. This
Awesome.
huge system. It's got three
Awesome.
18s in the trunk and shit. Like you can't even hear yourself think. It's just and you just smoke
Dude,
weed. That's all you do with
love
the
that
car.
shit. Love that shit. That was a great fucking idea, man. I
Hey,
love that
you
shit.
guys want to go burn one? And you're like, yeah,
God,
okay.
great
And you're like, all
idea.
right, let's go. And then you're like
Fuck yeah.
walking all out into the
What a
back and
one of
around
Frank's
this.
blunts. One
Oh
of Frank's
fuck.
DMT lace blunts and that.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that'd be something else, man. A DMT lace blunt,
Yeah.
chameleon leaf, and the fucking Jesus. That'd be some
Yeah.
shit. That's gotta happen. I'm very much enjoying visualizing that right now. Sounds awesome,
It'd be a cool thing to have.
especially with
We
those
when
glasses on.
yeah. There
Some
there
lights
was a
going.
fucking kid that I knew when we were younger. They had like a Volkswagen bus buried under the ground, and
Nice.
you could get into it. Like it had like a hatch and shit underneath a doghouse. And like
All right.
we would go down
Cool.
in there and like
Yeah.
smoke out and shit like that. It was so
Fuck
fucking cool
yeah.
because it
Did
was
it have
just
a
like
ventilation system, or it just bought hot box down there?
it was like you hotboxed it still. Like it had a pipe that ran for
Uh-huh.
fresh air, but like you could easily just cover that
Cover
or
it.
plug it or whatever.
Awesome. That's hilarious. God, that's fucking cool. I remember neighbors up the street had they had in their yard, they had a lot of dirt everywhere instead of grass. They didn't put grass in there or something, I guess. And then one summer I found out why. It's that just the kid, I think it was just the kids, because they spent a lot of time, like they weren't really allowed to hang out in the neighborhood. And then
Hmm.
certain people could come hang out with them. And I guess I was one of them. So like, I think I was really young. I don't remember. I don't know, 7 to 12 ish, 7 to 11 ish. Um, but they showed me one time all the things they'd built, like all throughout the summer or summers, or I don't know, maybe one summer. But they started removing these 4x8 sheets of plywood. They were everywhere, but like
Mm.
there I could see them, the dirt coming off of them. But then we went down these hatch or down these stairs they made, and you could crawl their tunnels through the whole thing,
Oh wow.
like through the whole yard. And I'm like, Jesus, you guys are like fucking moles. Like this is amazing. Like well done. This is incredible. Like, especially for kids, man. Well done.
This is
And their
crazy,
two
but why are you
brothers.
doing this?
Yeah. I don't even know, but this is fun. Let's play tag. Great.
That's fucking
I
great.
think they had a bunch of box cars down there. They had all sorts of other shit. Definitely mini fucking dirt ramps and shit. They had a world within a world. Well, cool.
That's super weird. Wow. That's
Weird
taking
and
it to the next
awesome.
level.
Willow said her bedroom is black and white and she loves it.
Yeah, I've
I
had
don't
a
know if I
thing
could do
for.
black
There
and
was a
white.
movie in like 1997 or something, I think, called Belly. That was. It doesn't matter what it's about. One of the guys inside of there, he has this like really fancy really fancy house. It's like all black and white, and I'm not really like a materialist guy, but if I was ever to fucking have an amazing house. It would look a lot like that one inside because it just
Yeah,
looks so cool.
cool. I'd love to
It
see it
looks
because
so fucking clean.
I've had a hard time with black and white. It seems too sterile to me,
It's
you
a
know. And
pretty
even
sterile look, no doubt
yeah,
about
which
it.
is like, and I'm like okay with that in certain dynamics and whatever. It's not like I'm not really can't think of things styles I'm incredibly opposed to. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
amenable in that way, and I enjoy. But I don't know if I obviously have preferences, because I feel like I've seen um, enough shows, things over time. If maybe not enough, or pictures, Pinterest pictures back in the day. Should
Yeah.
look them up again. But like, I feel like I can see where it's like I like it in certain circumstances, but it's almost hard. Like you have to add. There's ways you have to add softness or warmth to it in some way. I think even the decor or the layout or something or types of white, black and white marble and different. Was this it?
Yeah, this is the house.
Do it.
I'm not gonna play it. It's actually from a film, a feature film.
Oh, I
We'll get
see.
copyright struck for sure.
All right, all right.
But that's basically. I mean, that gives you an idea of the house. You know, it's all black and white. Like
Yeah,
everything
see, I
is
want to see
black and
them. I
white.
want to see the movement though. And who's the guy in the? Is that what is that? A person in the
Yeah,
middle or? Okay. Whose
that's
whose house
the
is
picture that's
this?
on the wall. I mean, it's a guy named Tommy in the movie. The guy that's
Oh,
standing
in
in the
the movie.
background
Okay.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know who it
All
is
right,
in real
that's a
life,
movie. I
but
was
it's
thinking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So what do you
I
think?
don't know.
Too?
We're not
Oh, interesting.
not really supposed to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
stuff like this. But what is this? This is not from. Oh, that I forgot. They were watching Gummo in there. That's funny.
Oh,
That's
what's
so
good?
funny. I
Some
forgot
other
about that.
movie?
Have you ever seen this movie?
Uh-uh.
Oh, dude, it's a fucking weird one. Like,
Hey, you know what it reminds me of? Like just the scene right there for whatever. My first thought was like a version of Butterfly Effect. Like some
yeah.
really fucked up scene happens like that, and that's what came to mind. So yeah, continue. Tell me why it's a weird one.
Yeah, it's like the whole premise and everything is just really fucking weird. And like, if I don't know if anybody ever wants to have a really fucking strange movie, Gummo's a good one to go after. This scene right here, though, these kids like, he runs across these kids in a junkyard, and then these kids are like holding him up with toy guns, and this one kid's like, "I fucking hate rabbits." It's so fucking funny, dude. It is fucking hilarious. They make this kid do all kinds of like fucked up shit, and it's part, kind of thing in the movie. But nevertheless, like it's fucking weird. It's so funny, dude. That's strange. I totally forgot that they were even watching that in there.
That's funny.
Yeah,
But
he even has like a white pool table.
yeah, yeah. If you
Like,
just scrub it with still images, it might be right.
yeah. I think like if you for best
That's
effect,
cool.
you
That
have
white
to be a
profile is
black
cool.
dude to live at this house.
I
You know
was
what I
like, yeah,
mean?
the contrast there. There's no white people in this shot, huh?
There's barely any white people in this movie. Inside of the
Yeah.
Gummo film right here is about the only white people you see in the whole movie. Uh, this is sexualized, but you can see how you could affect it with lighting, though, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
one cool thing about
Okay,
like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
white space is you can
There you
just cheat
go.
it with lighting
And
everywhere.
if you had lighting, literally designing it in the way I know you'd want to design it in different ways. Like you could have light. They have full spectrum lighting now, where you have different gradients of shades of hues. You could probably put in the color code, RGB or whatever, for the room that you want, so you can actually get all the lighting there tuned to whatever hue, just even an off shade of
Yeah,
red or blue or green or whatever.
yeah, it'd be fucking cool. You could
Yeah.
like, I mean, because you could go to the specific frequency that you
Right.
wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe even like you could do really cool gradients too if
No
you're
shit,
having this
man.
driven by like.
Dude, let me tell you. Okay, so on the video game tip, yeah, what did I play with my brother yesterday? Rocket League. I think Rocket League. You familiar with that one?
Yeah,
Have you played it?
yeah, a pretty decent bit. Yeah.
Okay. I played for the first time with him, and like, so like, he was showing me the different graphics and frame rate speeds and like going through different things. It was just like my brain or my whole mind was engaging again with that like thought processes of diving into video games, but at a
Mm-hmm.
whole other level since it's been a while since I've done that type of fast pace or whatever. That just different interaction, different engagement.
Yeah.
Because of how sped up, like how fast everything was for one, and then also, but the graphics though were like really really engaging and impressive because of
Mm-hmm.
whatever the frame rate and the speed and whatever. It was like hyper engaging. like
Mm-hmm.
really stimulating and engaging us for my mind, but also visually and perceptually, and the actual just the ability of the micro movements in your joysticks. It's like definitely has not been there for me before in other video games. Like just there's so much. Um,
Have you watched any of the people who are pros at Rocket League play?
mm,
It's a completely different game than what you probably saw. The ball
yeah, they
basically
go
never
shut.
touches the ground.
Uh,
There's all kinds of crazy aerial flip resets and fakes of where you're going to hit the ball and shit. All of
yeah,
the dribbling is basically done in the air. You can carry the ball by spinning the car around properly.
huh,
Like, it's a completely different game at
yeah,
top end. And that's kind of
dude.
amazing about it, really.
It's super. Yeah, that's what he was. He's only just gotten into it, and on the last, I don't know, super long, he's doing amazingly better than me. But just it was like, yeah, just the whole engagement of it, man, and even like having a conversation with him while we're playing or engaging. I'm just like
Hmm.
all the neural activity going on is really I don't want to say it hyper stimulating makes it seem like some kind of negative. It's not. It's just hyper engaging, hyper stimulating, and the graphics are just sick. Like really, the way they do the spatial features and the physics even on it, and even up on the wall, and just the I don't know, man. It's really really awesome. I'm
Yeah,
really
it's really
impressed.
fun to play.
Yeah,
For anybody who's not watching on the screen and does not know what Rocket League is, it's basically car soccer.
yeah.
You
No,
can play
what I
soccer
said,
with a
my
large
first
ball
thought was to
and
him when I
cars.
sat down, and I'd never seen it. And I says, "Was is this like uh beach volleyball 2060 or something like in the future 2100?"
That's what they would have called it in like 1987. They would have just called it like car volleyball 2060 or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely more like soccer than volleyball, but that's probably what they would have named it, something like
Yeah.
that.
That's well, because it floats. It's more float. It's not like it's not a weighted soccer ball. It's not the physics of it. It does float kind of like a beach volleyball a little bit. You know, it's like inflated with air. It's not,
Yeah,
it doesn't look like that necessarily, but like,
I suppose there is a little bit of a float to it.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
And it's funny
it's a
because
fun game.
yeah, that's interesting shit, man.
It's pretty. It's a good game because it's like fast paced and you're doing something the whole time. There's not like a position that you'll end up playing where you end up just like sitting around not doing
Yeah,
much or
yeah,
something
right,
like
right.
that. So
And also like yeah, just like there's so much engagement to all those movements. Sorry, I'm getting caught up in the game again.
uh,
Just watching. Um, it's like I can see that diving into it, it's not a waste of time at all. Like there's ways I see it like connecting my neurology in really positive ways if I were to really engage this, like for, a period of time, like get into the game or whatever that means.
yeah,
But
well,
like,
modern studies are showing that people that play video games like a lot are
yeah,
on average 30 to 40% scoring 30 to 40% higher on intelligence quotient tests. So
yeah,
it
totally
seems
makes
that
sense.
actually video games make you significantly smarter.
Dude. All
30 to
right.
40% is a big gap on the
That's a
IQ,
massive gap, man.
boys. That's a
And
big gap.
it's so funny you say that too, because that's what it feels like. It feels like, oh, here's an area where I can increase something or hyper increase just parts of me or other parts that are there or whatever, or add new layers. Like I'm just aware of that in myself. Like there's some
Hmm.
shit here that was really high, not just a cognitive like thought, oh, maybe there's some shit there. Like I could feel it and the own draw from like my nervous system maybe telling me, yes, this is some shit that could teach us some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, anything that requires like, well, this is just like really high level competition, but you can definitely push yourself to the max all the time. Any of the games that have like ranking systems and are versus other people, you can definitely get some pretty beneficial things out of them, just out of how much you'll push yourself to get better if you start like taking it super seriously. Because the people
Yeah.
who are good at it are fucking stupid good. Like it is ridiculous how good they are. If you want to try and go like most people, okay, so the highest rank inside of Rocket League, for instance, is Grand Champion, and like most people will never come even fucking close to Grand Champion. There's people that play for 12 hours a day that are stuck at champion ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's the competitive level is pretty fucking high.
So everyone
And
in this game here in the video is grand champions.
These are all these are
So
actually like beyond. I mean, these are pros, people who are literally on esport teams. They're almost all of them would have no problem getting to grand champion or are grand
Jesus.
champion, but like this is basically what grand champion
it's
Rocket League
it's so
looks
it's
like.
so funny to me to like consider like committing to video games in a certain way, seeing how it could progress me and like and help in all other areas of my life as well. And there's just something there beneficial there, because I
Yeah.
remember what that was like when I did that before. Now that was like I've done that different times. I've talked about dove into different games the last decade, but really right before that, super into it, and then a bit after that, and I remember all the benefit, even though I'm sitting there watching other TV shows, just Netflixing through series and like gaining stuff that way that are stimulating me cognitively while I'm also being stimulated through without needing to verbally or listen to the games I was playing. It wasn't like sometimes a storyline or whatever, but not really. It was just making
Mm-hmm.
progress and figuring
Yeah.
shit out. And it's just interesting. I don't know. It's like looping back again, like 15 years later, which is six, which I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of points in time in my life where I was like, kind of thought I'd stop playing video games sometime, but I kind of doubt it. Like I go through periods of time where there's not really anything that appeals to me, but if I
Mm-hmm.
play like a game that I really enjoy, I'm probably gonna play it a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've steered away from that in a lot of ways. I mean, I just haven't really put in my awareness that it'd be valuable enough to give more even like, well, I don't know, weight to. So for like synchronicity or my awareness of the value of it to come into my life. So it's just interesting that
Yeah.
the way it did. I mean, just over time, but especially that just playing this with my brother the other day, and yeah, interesting shit. Interesting
Yeah.
shit, yo.
Video games are fun. Maybe not that valuable.
And that was only 30 to 40 points. Not that valuable, maybe.
Yeah. You you
What
can
started that? That was a mass tangent, though. The video game stuff. I mean, I started it. I just I forgot where
you
we
just
were
kind
at.
of randomly said like on the video game tip. I played this
I
with my
know,
brother
I
the other
know.
day, Rocket League. Have
Right,
you heard
right,
of it?
but right before that, do you remember what we were talking about?
Nope. It was unrelated. So
Oh, I know that. That's what I'm trying to find
why would we
where we
go
were
back
at,
to it now?
because I feel like there's more there. That's why I like we shifted on this like semi tangent, which is cool.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Whatever comes up comes up. See, Will says you're telling me I should start playing video games. I don't know if you get the reaction I feel like I was getting from playing this game. Then if you were me and I was you, then I'd say yes or something.
Yeah. I'd
That's
say
up to
that kind
you.
of depends on what you do with your time right now, you know, and what you find fun.
Mm.
So I
What do you
think
find fun, Willow?
I can understand where a lot of people. Well, video games have a lot of different genres, and there's
Yeah,
probably one that appeals to anyone. But certain genres, they just don't really have the greatest replayability, honestly.
yeah.
Like,
Which ones would you say? Or the least replayable? Full length RPGs because you know the whole story and all the ins and outs after you played it once, watched twice.
sort of, but most people will, like, if out of a decent RPG, most people will get more hours out of that than they do out of other games. Games that the same thing happens over and over and over again. That any repetitive game, it generally doesn't have as much replayability unless you're taking it very seriously, or it's
Mm.
playing competitive. Competitive is big on that. Um, what do I think has the worst replayability? Huh.
Good
It
question,
all
Aaron.
depends on the person, really. Like a game that I would only play a little tiny bit. Like I think like puzzle games and shit like
Mm.
that. Like those are fucking terrible to me. Like I the only reason I would ever play them at all is literally just to be like, oh yeah, I can fucking trash games like this. Look at that. And like that's like
Yeah,
the
right.
only reason
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
would ever even play it. It's not fun to me. Getting if the whole point of the game is to get a high score, it
Yeah.
has no replayability to me. Like
Oh, I
I don't
gotcha.
like that. The one player high score chase, that doesn't do
Gotcha.
it for me at
Yeah.
all. Really, if games aren't online, I'm kind of like tuned around online games because I've been doing it like since the beginning
Hmm.
of the fucking internet. But if a game's not online for me, like,
How would you
I'm not finding it
differentiate
very replayable.
game for high score with different levels within like WoW or those kind of RPGs? Because that's still
I
leveling
mean,
up, and
you
that
could
you have a
set up
higher
like some
score.
kind of arbitrary high score in the sense that, like, if I'm the best geared warrior in the game and
Hmm.
I've killed all of the bosses and shit, then I have this score that's at one thing. But if I'm just like, I just hit maximum level on my warrior, I'm at a much lower score. You could
Hmm.
do things like that. I mean, you could set one on there, but there's not one actually like built into the game,
So the
really.
different, okay, I guess the difference with that is it's continual play. So it's not like you're repeating. I mean, maybe you're repeating levels or certain things, but it's the amount of time and effort someone puts in that puts them at the highest score versus.
Yeah, the
I'm trying
character
to,
progression is a big difference inside
yeah,
of there
that one.
too. Like in a high score chase kind of game, there is no character progression. Pinball is a great
Gotcha.
example. Your
Yeah,
character
yeah,
never gets any better in pinball. And so you're just going after a higher score given what's available right at the very beginning of it. You know?
yeah,
So unless you're learning like nuance and tricks or something like that, it has to be like a reason. Pinball never would have captured my attention for long
yeah,
periods of time at all.
yeah, yeah.
No way.
That makes
But
sense. And even like asteroids and that kind of shit. I mean, it's all the basic arcade high
yeah,
score shit. It's just like it's cool for a while. Like I remember, even though I was the one I was talking about that our neighbor had or something that uh it's like it's cool till I get good enough. Even if I don't get the high score, it's like I've kind of maxed out my enjoyability and my mastery of the game. I'm satiated with I kind of own this shit enough, and so
yeah.
like and I'm good. I'm kind of bored with it
I feel
now.
like
I
if you're
know.
gonna play something like that, you should just play a bullet hell game, which operates a lot like asteroids. But the idea of bullet hell is that there's very few places on the screen where you don't get killed by whatever is there. So it's about
Yeah,
very much so about like being in the exact right spot and making the
yeah,
exact
yeah,
precise movements and shit like that. And like those games are fucking hard as fuck. You want to talk about learning some hand-eye coordination? Go find like some difficult bullet hell games and try and do very well on them, cause dude, they're intense. So
Willis
they're
said
hard.
that I've never really gotten into video games before besides Mario Kart. I was just playing Mario Kart with my brother. Yeah, she
Mario
did
Kart
too.
might be the most popular video game on the planet at this point in
It's
time. I can't tell you how
yeah, I
many
guess
times in
so.
my life I've heard somebody be like, "I've never played video games at all." Well, actually I used to play Mario Kart with my brother. Like I have heard this so many fucking times.
Yeah,
Or they'll be like, "Oh, I like video games. I totally do." Yeah, like I mean, like I love like Mario Kart, and I'm like,
yeah,
if Mario Kart's the one that you list right there, do you really like video games, or did you play that one
yeah,
once and you're trying to be relevant? Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
And
I
my
did have some fun with Mario Kart, but when I played Mario Kart, we were playing it with like a multi tap and all this
yeah,
shit, and we had like 8 of our friends sitting around doing the races where like every single character that was on the track was
yep,
somebody sitting in the room, and yeah, people going fucking crazy over red shells and banana peels and shit.
yeah, man.
Fights even
That's fucking
happening and shit over that.
irritating. That's fucking awesome. It's funny how just you take the games of the culture available to you, and still your culture around you plays out just through the games.
Yeah.
Depending on how people behave and react. And like, I remember, so my ex-wife, she said always talked about how good she was at fucking Mario Kart, right? I mean, like just
Mhm.
talk shit, and she was good at other shit. So like, I assumed like, all right, maybe she's fucking good at Mario Kart. And my presumption is, unfortunately, and those interactions will say at that time, probably a different arena now, maybe I don't know, but like any girl I'd run into, like, yeah, no, not very good at video games, and I'm gonna smash you. Like, it's not gonna happen. But I was like expecting something that was like something, and like we played, and she was horrible, like really bad. And I'm like, I haven't played this in 10 years, and I'm doing like this. Yeah, you're doing really bad. Like, I'm just getting a feel for the game, and you're doing really bad. Um, and it dawned on her. She started busting up laughing because she realized the only person she played video games growing up with was her 6 year younger brother. And she's the one he beat all the time. He's the one she beat all the time. That was her only reference
Mm,
point for how awesome she was.
yeah.
Very wrong.
That's a big thing right there. You see that in a game like Rocket League. If you actually got interested in that game, you'll end
Yeah.
up running across people that like they think they're great at Rocket League, but if you're like champ level player, they are
Uh,
dog shit in your mind. They are dog shit. They do not even know how to play the game. Basically, it's crazy. There's just like, there's such a big golfing class in a lot of
yeah.
games. Rocket League's an example of one of those. There's a lot of
Awesome.
nuance to it, and it takes a ton of muscle memory of how to
Jesus.
do
Yeah.
these specific things with the control because you're doing a lot of shit. Like you're holding R1, turning this way while also spinning that way and moving your camera at the same time.
Uh huh.
And it's also on like a weird angle that you suddenly came to at super fast speeds. And another dude's coming like this, and you got to think about that. And like it's
Jesus.
pretty
Yep.
intense, dude.
All of it.
Even hitting the
Incredibly
ball in
well.
the air is very difficult for people at the beginning of the game. And let me tell you, carrying the ball in the air is not, they're not even in the same class. Carrying the ball in the air requires you to feather your jets at the exact same speed that the ball goes, while also pushing the ball from behind and then rotating your car to carry it from underneath, to rotate over to the top, to push it ahead again, to rotate underneath, and you're literally carrying the ball precisely through the air the whole time. It's fucking hard as shit. It takes tons of hours of practice before you will ever even do it right once. And the first time that you do it right, you'll feel like a button smasher. Very much so. You'll be like, oh my God, like it happened, but I
Yeah.
don't really feel like I should take credit for that.
Yeah. It totally makes sense. Yeah. It
It'll
totally
be
makes
like the
sense.
100th time that you do it that you're like, shit, I actually did one on purpose. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah. It's
it
a great way
actually
to describe
worked.
that. Totally. Shit. Well, it said, what's worse, fight over Mario Kart or fight over Monopoly? You ever play Monopoly and get in fights? You ever play Monopoly? Or it's a video game?
Every single game of Monopoly that I've ever played with somebody ended
Here it
up in a
goes.
place where we were just like bored. We just quit because we were
Oh yeah,
bored.
no doubt. That happened to us half the time too. I was like, yeah, like after a while, I get over the game. It's like, no, this is boring shit.
Yeah.
Or change. So we'd agree on changing the rules in a way that
A
we're like
lot
made
of
it a little
people
more
play
fun.
some pretty lame Monopoly rules. Not gonna lie, trying
Yeah.
to be friendly to everybody and make sure they're like, oh, if you land on a property, you can just buy it. That's not the way the rules go. Free parking gets $200 put in it every time someone passes. Go. Nope, that's not the way the game goes. Like, there's so many different rules that people try
Yeah.
to pull onto Monopoly, and when you pull too many of those on, like the game basically never fucking ends. You know, because
Yeah.
it's impossible to. It's very very difficult. You have to have an extremely bad row of luck in order to actually go bankrupt. And
What's the rule? Yeah. Yeah. That's why it takes forever to get boring as shit. But like, what's the rule for buying a property? You can't land on a property and buy it.
if you land on a property, it is put up for. It goes to auction
Oh, no shit.
immediately. The person.
No shit.
Then you guys bid on it. So if you want to blockade somebody from getting a property you know they want, you just hike the
Yeah.
price to the fucking moon and realize you can
Yeah.
basically win the entirety of Monopoly just by screwing people over on auctions, by hiking their prices way up
Oh
and then
shit.
backing
Genius.
out when they overbid you. And
Well,
that's
I'm
like
gonna have to play it again.
it's a part of Monopoly that people just don't even use most of the time.
I didn't even know. We'll have to play. Well, I'll play one more time. We'll put that rule in just so I can say I did it. Like I'll probably be bored with it after that. But that sounds like a more fun way to do that.
You think Monopoly starts a lot of fights before? Wait until you put auctions in that bad boy. Whew. It's
Mm.
not going. It gets even worse. What's worse? I mean, worse is a fight over a fighting game than both of these, like over Killer Instinct or WCW Wrestling or
Yeah,
Street
that would be the
Fighter or
worst.
Mortal Kombat or something like that, because like it just immediately goes from we were fighting in the game to we're now punching each other, at least with boys. So like
Yeah.
I mean, it can get real fast, and yeah, so that would be worse. But Mario Kart or Monopoly, probably Monopoly has a worse history because like I don't know, I think it like gets under people's skin in a different way. Like Mario Kart,
Mm.
you're just mad that you lost. In Monopoly, you feel like you can't trust your family member anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. There was
Yeah,
some weird
like
shit,
man,
man.
I know if it ever comes down to $1,000, you're gonna fuck me over, and I know it, cause you've always fucked me over less than that in Monopoly, even.
Yeah.
Like I know you will. So I would probably say Monopoly, cause it's deeper seated hatred.
Well dissected. I like it.
Oh man,
That's funny
yeah.
shit. Oh,
a lot of other games, really, it's just frustration. Like you're frustrated and you start calling out a lot of like, well, you start blaming other shit. The game's bullshit. What other people are
Yeah,
doing is
yeah.
bullshit. Someone else is cheating. Someone else is getting lucky. You have the bad controller. You always get the bad controller. Yet if you give them that controller, they still win.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh shit, man. Every time. Man, that's funny. That did happen. Forgot about
I've
that
gotten
shit.
so much of that shit. You
That's
know.
so funny. I know, but it's even better because it's just like the doubles. It's like skunking them on fucking cribbage or some shit, man. Like when you fucking give him control and beat him again.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
best feeling times two.
Yeah. Or the
Shit. Usually,
purposeful like throw half the game and then just absolutely
yeah,
fucking destroy them
and
in
then
the second
crush
half and
them.
still win.
Yeah,
The
totally.
purposeful comeback.
And I
Uh,
remember in like okay, Mario Kart tip like the I remember when I could people knew about the secret shortcuts on certain levels, right? Go like
mhm.
jumping up the ramp through the cave and like whatever, come out the waterfall and some shit. And others didn't. Even if they knew about them, like it was hard to hit the timing right, or you'd have to get the right thing, and you'd have to hit it right, whatever. So doing that, like making sure like I'm a lap, or so trying it out like with my younger siblings or people that were way worse or whatever, where I could let them lap me like twice or whatever, and still beat them because I could just take that tunnel real quick and do whatever.
Just keep hitting the shortcut.
Yeah, and then they're because they think they're winning, right? Like no, you're not. You think you
Yeah.
are for now.
In the original Mario Kart, you could be a real cheese dick motherfucker if you took the time to train it because when you hit a thing that gave you an item, it
Hmm.
always started on the same thing. And if you knew the timing, you could determine
That's
which
right.
item you got
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
That's
So you
right.
could just red shell, red shell, red shell,
Yeah,
red shell,
right.
red shell all fucking day long. So
And also,
unfair.
like on 64, you could like because you could slide it on a Super Nintendo. Like, you could only hit one question mark, even if you skid it over a couple. You could only depress one. But
Hmm.
the spinning octahedrons or whatever the hell they were, yeah, question marks. You could just do a power slide and take out all of them from
Oh yeah,
everybody.
steal all of the items,
So
put
everybody
them in
right
the one.
behind you is about to get them. Nope, you just
Yeah.
power slide them all out.
That's tactics, dude. That's
Yeah,
how top
man.
level any type of competition goes. Is that you start looking for every little nuanced way that you can
Yeah.
to
And
get
then yeah,
ahead.
it's fun, man. I think people I appreciate that shit. I'm like, fuck, man, good move. Like good thinking. Like you get pissed when people do it too, but like I appreciating that progression. Dude, listen,
Yeah.
okay, check this out. Funny anecdotal story. So this ring, um, had this ring, it's like the script from Lord of the Rings, the Elvish
Hmm.
script or whatever. And Nate saw it the other day. He said, "What that's a ring," and I showed him. And he said the only thing that ring makes you invisible from is girls. and then and then he said one ring to avoid them all. Like it was just on the spot. It was so funny. I was busting up laughing. I'm like, you just think of that? And he said, yeah. And like he had another one. I couldn't remember it, but it was really
Oh
funny.
my god. It probably
It's
will help
funny.
with that in some cases. Having said
Yeah,
that,
who
that thing
knows?
got so popular now, and I would say the majority of people who like it seem to be females.
Yeah.
They like that fantasy shit.
I know. It was just funny. Like I didn't even think about that shit. I just got like it's black. It's got this like gold, gray, what's that? Silver script. Silver script. I don't know. I like the Elvis script. I don't know. I fucking like it. And it's just
Yeah.
funny because him and I are just different. I don't know where we just styles or whatever. And it just that makes sense that you would say that. And that's just funny shit, man.
One
I
ring
like
to
that
avoid them
perspective.
all.
One reason why the
There's certain times in
Jesus.
my life where I need that ring if that's how it works, dude. I just need like
Yeah,
everybody
where's that ring?
to
Give me the cloak.
leave me alone. Everyone, don't notice me, okay? Like I'm gonna go about living my life for the next week and no one see me, okay?
No shit, man. They need to put one of those on all the social media or some app that's the one ring to avoid them all, and then she fucking hides you from social media for a week or some shit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man. Well, I have not eaten any food today, so I might die right now. It's pretty bad. It's 9 o'clock at night, and I haven't eaten yet today. That's a little.
Yeah,
I
intermittent fasting,
accidentally.
bro.
When did I even? But I don't even remember when the last time I ate was. I think it was like 5 or something yesterday.
Wow.
So it's
Been
like
busy playing Rocket League.
28 hours. I haven't played Rocket League in a while. How long has it? I mean, Steam will probably tell me how long it's been since I played Rocket League. I've played
Oh,
too
that's
much
cool.
Rocket League. I've gotten to like high champion ranks in Rocket League.
No shit.
I got about 400 hours played on Rocket League. Yeah.
Awesome.
That is how it's the 5th anniversary of the game. I was playing Rocket League right when it came out. I mean, right when it came out. When it first ever came out on Steam, I saw it and
Huh.
I was like,
That's been
I
around
love
five
games
years.
like this. Yeah. Well, it
Oh
says right
shit.
here, right
All
on the
right.
top of it, they're currently doing a 5th anniversary thing. So
But the question is, Jack, have you played it on your new screen?
I don't
Uh
think
oh.
I have.
Uh oh.
Last played was March 10th. I might have. March 10th?
No. No, I was out in May.
Oh, yeah, definitely not then.
Yeah.
Yeah. March.
Uh oh. Better put those glasses on too.
That'd be
And
kind of
turn the
okay.
music up, bro.
Yeah, you can get all these kinds of like crazy trails that are behind your car. I'm sure you saw that on there, but I have a bunch of them that would be pretty fun to just like we'll just play the game with the camera like straight behind your car. You know what
All
I
right.
mean? So that like
Yeah.
the fucking the when you're using the boost, it's just blasting in your face.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
It's super hard to play
Fuck
that
yeah.
way, but it would look super cool.
No shit, man.
So, yeah. Yeah, nope. Haven't played Rocket League on this monitor.
Awesome. Cool.
So,
Then
anyways,
Will says, "Don't die, Zach. Nourish your skin suit."
it would probably be a good idea. Yeah. I have
Awesome.
decided today that I do not want to die today. So,
Yeah.
we'll check back tomorrow, but I'm going to eat today.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool. It's called an
if
hour.
I
It's
don't do
called
it in the
hour.
next 3 hours, I could just be like, I don't even eat every day, guys. There was
Yeah.
that one day, July
One time.
31st, where I didn't eat all day.
Yep. It's
It's
true.
crazy to think that like we live in a world where like I don't know, to me it's so fucking weird I haven't eaten anything today. I had a bowl of cereal right before this started, but it did not do the trick. And but the idea that I would even make jokes about that I haven't eaten all day when I've had a bowl of cereal when some people legitimately do not eat food for many days. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. Like I don't know how anybody in America ever complains about their life. Like there's other
Mm,
places that are probably a lot worse, man. It's
mm,
pretty
yeah.
crazy. So maybe take your life with a grain of salt and don't take it so serious because it's really funner to laugh than to cry. And, you know, we have it pretty good here in the Western world, the modernized culture, America especially. So
This is
could be
true.
a lot worse, despite all the masks and COVIDs and weird governments and whatever pharmaceutical companies are doing and what's the deal with big tech and
Yep.
conspiracy theories. So many conspiracy theories right now.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. So many conspiracy theories. So, anyways, thanks for spending time with me
Hmm.
in my journey through the solar system on a rock named Earth in a body named Zach.
And a spaceship called Expand Understanding Ice and everything else.
All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow after Frank's show.
Good night.
Frankie Fearless. He starts at 6, or yeah, I think it's 6 Pacific.
Yes.
And we'll be on
Pacific
after him.
9 Eastern.
So check him out. Check us out. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell everybody. Okay. Have a good night. Bye.
Night.